Shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Hey guys, Spirit of the Law here. While it's generally pretty obvious which units are faster than others, in this video we're going to get a bit more technical and put some hard numbers to both the fastest and slowest units in Age of Empires 2 in order to arrive at a definitive ranking. While you probably have a fairly good idea of a few units that'll show up, I think you'll find there's actually quite a few surprises in this list. We'll start off though by counting down the slowest units first, if for no other reason than to make what comes later even more dramatic. Of course, speed is by default measured in the game as the number of grid tiles a unit can cross per in-game second. And if you have the extended tooltips turned on, that's how info about speed is presented, so any numbers I give are in that format. We'll begin with units moving at a leisurely 0.9 tile per second pace. Originally, the champion was the sole land unit that would have been here, but recently the devs have really gravitated toward 0.9 as the default for any sort of heavy, unique infantry unit, and now even regional elephants, at least prior to researching husbandry and squires. You may have noticed in-game before that these units can't quite keep up with archers, for example, and seem like a good place to start us off. Slowing things down just a tad, at a sluggish 0.85 tiles per second, we have the Organ Gun and Warrior Priest. Interestingly, these are the only units at this speed I could find, a little over 5% slower than the previous group. Taking things down another notch, we have a very popular speed at a lethargic 0.8 tiles per second, encompassing villagers, Teutonic Knights, some siege, and a few others. I'm probably even overlooking one or two units here, and if something is intended to be slow, then the devs appear to love setting it at 0.8. Next up, we have a real oddball case, with Deer and Simmerhunt moving at a dawdling 0.737. Why it's such a specific number going up to 3 decimal places, I have no idea, but presumably they move a little slower than villagers, so they can be hunted if they're waddling away. Sliding down to a crawl now at 0.7 tiles per second, this is where we run into sheep, monks, and bombard cannons. Funny enough, the monk isn't even phased by carrying a relic, showing off some real old man strength. You might think this is the slowest set of units, but it's not even close. Dropping down another 7% in speed, at a lazy 0.65 tiles, we have the Scorpion and, interestingly, the Cow, making it a little extra slow at scouting. That still leaves us with a few units left, all sharing the slowest pace at a truly glacial 0.6 tiles per second. Just give them a minute, they're on their way. Any minute now. And there they are, with this level including the Ram, Armored Elephant, and Mangonel lines. Arguably, the Armored and Siege Elephant can be sped up with Husbandry, and the Ram line with Garrison units, so the title for the always slowest unit should go to the Mangonel line. Unfortunately, there's no terrain modifiers to slow units down and give us some interesting cases, so this is simply the slowest movement rate above 0 that you'll ever see in the game. Now though, let's flip things around and look at some of the fastest units. I'll assume these all have generic upgrades this time unless otherwise noted, with Husbandry being included, and we'll even consider potential Civ bonuses. Now to start off, I know exactly where you want this to go, which is that our surprise winner is going to be the Mongol Siege Ram with Drill. It would be amazing to have the Ram line top the slowest and fastest list, and while we all want it to be up there, the reality is it's just not that fast at 1.2 tiles per second even when fully garrisoned. It's basically a fast-moving infantry unit at its peak. Instead, we're going to start off with a group of units all around 1.5 tiles per second, plus or minus, which is getting into very fast territory, knocking on the door of top 15 units. Here we have a theoretical Celtic Eagle Warrior with the Celt's fast-moving infantry bonus, a regular old trade cart with Caravan, a host of cavalry archer variants in the Manaspa with Husbandry, all of which are ever so slightly outpaced by a scout cavalry unit in Feudal Age, even without Husbandry. While this is starting out well, this is by no means as fast as we'll see. Next, we'll go up to the low 1.6 tiles per second range, giving us units that move at least twice as fast as villagers. Here we have Camel Riders being a little faster than the Cavalry Archer group, followed by the Cuman Elite Kipchak, as remember Cumans have faster moving cavalry in general, and this won't be the last time we see them. This is also where some warships after dry dock end up, including both the Fast Fire ship and Galleon. While it might seem strange they don't outrun the galley line, the Fast Fire ship does somewhat live up to its name, moving about 6% faster than the regular fire ship. Here we're talking about units that are now clearly faster than trade carts, but we still have a few more levels to ratchet things higher. Next, we come to the high 1.6 or low 1.7 tiles per second pace. This includes the light cavalry, Hussar, Magyar Hussar, fully upgraded transport ships, Mongol siege towers loaded up with units, and the drill tech, all of which are slightly outdone by a scout cavalry with husbandry. If you don't know, the light cavalry upgrade reduces the scout cavalry speed by about 3%, which probably isn't noticeable, but technically means the light cavalry and hussar sacrifice a tiny bit of speed for their better stats. Personally, I like this feature, as practically speaking, if you want to load up a light cavalry unit with more armor or weaponry, that should slow it down, and personally I love to see more speed for armor and attack trade-offs than just this one case. Still, we can go faster though. The next set are in the high 1.7 tiles per second. This includes the Kuman Hussar, as remember they're a bit faster and Imperial Age from a bonus, the Gajar Shravamsha Rider, Viking Elite Longboat with Dry Dock, and again the Kuman Scout Cavalry with Husbandry, as technically the fastest land unit in the game at 1.79. Skipping the light cavalry upgrade is probably not a good idea though, and in practice on land, the Gajar Shravamsha Rider is very likely the fastest unit that you'll run into. Now, we can do slightly better than this on land if a trade cart is passing by a caravanserai, giving it just enough to hit the elusive 1.8 tiles per second, which we could count as number 1 on land if you don't mind the idea of a building helping out. Now, while the land units have been exhausted at this point, it turns out the naval units keep on going. Next, we hit the demo ship at 1.84 tiles per second after dry dock. The extra speed here makes a lot of sense from a gameplay perspective, so enemy ships can't just run away from it, and puts demos at about 12% faster than fast fire ships and galleons. At a ludicrous 2.28 tiles per second, more than double the speed of a halberdier with squires, we have a trade cog with dry dock and caravan. This is the fastest generic unit you can encounter, but there's one more trick we can pull off. Remember, Berbers have plus 10% ship speed as a civ bonus, and yes, that applies to trade cogs, bringing us to number 1, a Berber trade cog with dry dock and caravan at just over 2.5 tiles per second. That's over double the fully loaded Mongol siege ram with drill, so you can see they were never really in the running. Of course, we have to ask, what if we have a caravanserai on the coast that our Berber trade cog passes by? Unfortunately, the caravanserai only works on land trade units, which I totally understand in theory given it's a building on land, but means we aren't going to be able to reach the elusive 3 tile per second speed. Still, 2.5 is pretty good, and in fact the best we can do, at least without cheats. Interestingly enough, not all cheat code units can even keep up here, with Sharkatsar for example at a now unimpressive 2 tiles per second. Of course, you probably know the unit I'm thinking of, and that's the Cobra Car, coming in at 4.5, putting the Berber trade cog to shame. Again though, we can actually do even better. Cobra Cars may not look it, but they're technically siege units. And not just that, they count as siege workshop units, meaning they are impacted by the Mongol unique tech drill, boosting them another 50%. With that tech, we can push them up to 6.75 tiles per second, well beyond double the speed of our Berber trade cogs. Given the Cobra Car is about 1.3 tiles long and a Shelby Cobra is a little over 150 inches in length, that works out to our super-powered Mongol Cobra Car going 46 miles per hour, or about 74 kilometers an hour. Maybe it's not that impressive, but this is a medieval game after all. Finally though, we can rest knowing we've reached the fastest unit you can have in the game. Or is it? Of course, mods and a cheat code exist to let you research text multiple times, and while some stats like range are hard capped by the game, there's no clear cap on speed. If I research dry dock 100 extra times, the trade cog in fact keeps speeding up. What's funny is it then leaves little waves in the water like a skipping stone, as even the game seems to start losing track of what's going on. In fact, if you keep stacking dry dock, husbandry, or squires with a recurring trigger, the game eventually just gives up and declares the unit speed is infinite. So I guess that's your cap, if you can call infinity a cap, and use the term loosely. More practically though, these are your top land and water units ranked by speed. Now, looking closely at that list, you may notice you don't see your own name up there. That may be because you're not an Age of Empires unit, and that's a pretty good excuse, but it might also be because you don't have the right gym membership and cardio regime. If that sounds like it might be the case, you should check out my newest side business, Sprint of the Law, dedicated to helping you make great strides in your fitness. It even has a fantastic website thanks to this video's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a great-looking website, engage with your audience, and then sell anything from products to content to time all in one place. Using one of their templates, you can easily customize a website to your preferred aesthetic and then sell your product or services. That could include physical goods or digital content, including access to your own video library, with Squarespace handling the payment side of things so you can focus on the bigger picture. Using the built-in analytic and insight tools, you can then see exactly what's working and what's not. so you can continue to grow and scale your business more effectively. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/spirit of the law to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So that was a fun look at the slowest and fastest units in AoE2, both real and theoretical. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.